Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is William Jaegers, and today we're going to be talking about something that, if you follow me on Reddit, you may or may not have picked up on. Is that I am extremely adamant about people watching the sub before they watch the dub. Okay, or you could say I'm very anti-dub. I'm not anti-dub. There's scenes that I exclusively watch in the dub. That's a misconception. What I'm against is I'm against people watching the dub without going to the sub or the manga first. I'm going to explain to you in this video. I'm going to explain every argument and explain to you exactly why it's bad, why the dub is bad, and why it is inferior. Now, for those of you who don't know, and there's probably only a few of you don't know this, the dub is different than the sub or the manga because in the Japanese words and the English words do not all share the same syllables. Okay? So sometimes a word in English will be one syllable, and for Japanese it will be two syllables, or three syllables even. Hell, it could be four. Right? A great example of this, even the word one, ichi, that's two syllables. Right? One, just one syllable. So if the character says one, well, their lips are only going to move for that syllable, and more importantly, the camera is only going to be on that person, right? So if the camera's only there for one syllable and it cuts back to another character, that person has to say what they have to say, and then it comes back to the other character. So they have to reorganize the dialogue. They literally change the dialogue. They don't translate it. Again, this is not translation. They don't translate the dialogue. They remix the dialogue in order to fit the syllable count. Okay? And so that's what it does different. Now, I have a great analogy for the dub, and I know I'm famous for my analogy, and I know everyone loves my analogies, and this will be another great analogy. The dub, I think the perfect analogy for it's like Wikipedia. It's like Wikipedia. Wikipedia will generally, for the most part, be accurate. Have all the events, all the order of events, yada. But there's always 1, 2, 3, 4 dozen things that are inaccurate, right? So I'm just making this up out of an actual example at the moment. Let's say you're reading a Wikipedia article about a cult of Tesla, and it says he had an affair with his cousin. Now, maybe he actually had an affair with a completely random person. Maybe he didn't have an affair at all. And maybe he had sex before marriage, and then they said it was an affair, right? With his cousin, right? And that would be a slight mistake. Oh, it's just a minor mistake. Like, it's minor when you're writing it or when you're reading it. But as far as what it says, as far as like the events, that is completely different. If he had cheated on his wife with his own cousin, that is completely different than him cheating on his wife with some other girl, or not cheating on his wife at all and having some hanky-panky before he got married, and then say they to his wife. Those are all very completely different circumstances, and so it changes things, even though it's very slight. So that's the dub. The dub is generally you get the general idea, you get a pretty good grasp of the idea, but it will be inaccurate. And it'll be inaccurate in ways that actually are small, but they actually change a lot. Now, I especially just like AOT, every single word matters. Every single word matters. And the meaning of words, the order of words, the words used can change the sentence drastically. Don't believe me? Okay. I'm going to give you three different versions of events. And I'm not going to change a single word. I'm just going to change my tone. Ready? You may have already seen this, but if you haven't, you're in for a doozy. Okay, you ready? I never said she stole the money. I never said she stole the money. I never said she stole the money. Right? Even my facial expressions contribute to the language. So I just said three different things. Without changing a single word, I said three different things. Not three slightly different things. I said three drastically different things. Maybe this girl committed a felony. Maybe I framed someone for committing a felony and actually someone else committed a felony. Maybe I implied that someone committed a felony but didn't actually outright say it. Those are three completely different scenarios. Completely different scenarios. But I didn't change a single word. Now imagine what can happen when you actually change the words. And not only do you change the words, you don't change the words based off of translation. This isn't like translating Bibles where like, what school of thought should we use for this? No, you're not even doing that. You're just translating it to fit it in. You're literally trying to solve a problem. Like, okay, I have a problem. What can I do? I get the best words possible. It's literally jerry rigged. It's not even real. There's no logic, there's no rhyme or reason behind it. It's just jerry rigged. Okay. Now, I have many examples I can use. And I'm going to use 2 examples because I don't have time for 2 examples. So, and the one that I use all the time, if you've seen me on Reddit, is the season 1 finale when Eren is finding Annie after Annie succumbs to him. He says, and I quote verbatim, and this is from the official sources, and I'm not going to provide you a screenshot because you cannot screenshot Crunchyroll. Now, I could go on my computer and take a picture of my phone. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do it because I think everyone knows what he actually said. Okay? So, what he actually said, what he really said, was, I'll destroy the entire world, I'm free. That's what he said. Now, I may be mistaken. My memory may be fading a bit. Okay? I may have said a slightly different word. But that is what he said. I'm fairly certain of it. And what dub viewers think happens, they think, okay, well, he says I'll destroy the entire world, I'm free. Maybe he said I'll destroy everything in the world. Maybe the dub says, maybe he says, I'll destroy all the earth, I'm free. Maybe he says I'll destroy everything in the world, I'm free. You know, slight differences. That's the slight difference you're talking about. No. It's not translated like that. If it was translated like that, I would have much less of a problem with it. I would still have a problem with it, but I would have much less of a problem with it. What Eren actually says, and I'm going to play the clip, but he actually says is this. Okay, so I was going to bring this up. I did not have the exact words memorized, but watching this scene again, holy crap. Not only was Eren's foreshadowing and characterization butchered and ruined, but Annie's father's very poignant, emotional, impactful speech was completely destroyed. What he actually says is even if every creature rises up to hate you. He doesn't say that in the dub. That is a much, much better, poignant, poetic line. Another thing is he says, your dad is always on your side, which is completely different than saying your dad always understands whatever the hell he says here. Your dad is always on your side. I am just so angry about this. I'm baffled, quite frankly. So I just want to cut in and say that. Please enjoy the rest of the video.
Die! All of you! Everything! This is freedom!
Die, all of you, everything. This is freedom? Wow. As every media show says, there's lots to unpack here. Now, number one, not only did that foreshadowing get completely gutted and destroyed and discarded, and made into nonsense. It was made into nonsense, right? Because what he said beforehand was nonsense. But the nonsense made sense after the rumbling. This does not make any sense. He may say, well, but Luke, it still implies... No, it does not. It's nonsense. What is coming out of his mouth doesn't make any sense. Okay, so that's number one. So it completely destroys the foreshadowing. And number two, he says... And again, if I say it's not like mistranslation, it's a completely different translation. He says, this is freedom, which is completely different than saying, I am free. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's different. Because, and this is going to play into Jagerberg. This is why I say, every single freaking word matters. And we can build an entire layer, an entire picture, complete picture of Eren and his motivations from every line of dialogue, from what he said to his father when he killed the kidnappers, from what he said about the Titans when he killed his mother, from what he said in 130, 131, obviously, Akuma to Ko, everything, school cast, everything. We use all of that to build a complete picture of Eren. So we have slight dialogue like this. This builds upon his character, and that is taken away. And let me show you what I mean. To him, destroying the entire world is freedom. Okay? You understand? So destroying the entire world is freedom. So he says, I'll destroy the entire world because I am free. Right? And when he destroys the entire world, he says, this is freedom. You understand? Now, I'm going to put this in context. Imagine you're recently incarcerated, right? You get out of jail. You says, I'm going to go to the store, I am free. Remember, because you can go to the store because you are free. Right? Eren is saying, I'm going to destroy the entire world because I'm free. Right? You're not free yet. you know, again, the slight nuances. You're not free in that sense yet. You haven't reached your destination yet, but you are free. Okay, you understand what I mean? Like the person, he's driving from the jail to the store, right? He hasn't reached his goal yet. He's still free, but in a sense, he's not reached his goal. So in a sense, he's not free. Same with Aaron. He's free, but in a sense, he's not reached his goal yet. So when he reaches his goal yet, he says, this is freedom. So when the person reaches the store, he says, this is freedom. So let's go through this again. Reach incarcerate, you get out of jail. Say when you go to the store, I am free. You go to the store, and he says, this is freedom. Right? It's very simple to explain it very well. What actually happened was that Aaron said, I am free when he was still in the walls. Which does not make any sense. And messes with his character and how he is. Right? Because he didn't do the rumbling yet. He says, I am free when he does the rumbling. And I mean, we can go on and on about the subtle dialogue and how it builds up to his character. But you already get the picture. And the second thing is Flock. Flock's last words. Now I'm sure they're gonna butcher Flock's actual last words in the dub. I'm sure of it. But when Flock is talking by Gabby, what he actually says is, the one who saved LD will be me. Now let's see what the dub translates it as.
It all comes down to this shot. If I can just put a hole in the ship, then we win! I'm gonna save the Eldian Empire right now!
Completely different connotation. It's completely different. Now, why do I say that? This is what I mean. Every word counts. So, when you're building a character, you build him using not only action, but with dialogue. So, the dialogue, his actual last words, and the last words before he got shot by Gabby, humanize him and show his complexity. So when he says, so when you say empire, it's associated with hegemony, tyranny, oppression, yada yada yada, right? It expresses a desire for power for evil purposes, power for power's sake. Put simply, nationalism, right? When he says, I'll be the one to save Eldia, he's expressing it's more of a patriotic connotation. In fact, speaking of patriotic, I actually remembered another thing, which is actually also a severe misunderstanding of the fan base, but I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so the dub completely changed that line. That completely changed the meaning of it, and it changed Flock's character. Flock is a different person. You know what I'm saying? Flock is a not completely, but Flock is a different individual. There's two versions of Flock. There's one in the canon AOT, and there's one in the dub, which is different than the real Flock. Okay? And I'm sure they're gonna butcher his last words so terribly. I can't even imagine what they're gonna say in the dub. Right? So that's another great example of how it changes things. Now here's a mistranslation that caused a severe misunderstanding in the fandom. Now Aaron was just a giant patriot who cared about Eldian so much and was like this Eldian war hero. When he meets the Titan, before they go to the ocean, some translations, and I don't know if this is the dub or not, I probably should look, but I know some of the YouTube subtitles say, a fellow patriot. Guys, he didn't say a fellow patriot. He said a compatriot, which just means a countryman. That's all it means. He didn't say a fellow patriot. Now you may say, well, those mean the same thing. Blah, blah, blah. They do not mean the same thing. They literally mean the same thing. And just the same way that what can I get you versus what do you want literally mean the same thing. But they have two completely different connotations and subtext. So the subtext that they were drawing, the hopes that they were drawing from this, they concocted an entire theory, not just from this line, but they use this line to concoct their theory to say, oh, Aaron is going to do full rumbling because of this line. No, Aaron never, ever, ever said a fellow patriot. He did not say that. But anyway, so let's give you 3 examples. Let's give you 3 examples of how slight, quote-unquote, mistranslations change the entire story. And this does nothing for me. I have read this. I have the manga, and I have the manga for a reason, for reference. I live 2 minutes away from the library. I can go get any volume I want to whenever I want to. Okay, I'm not doing this for me. I know what AOT says. I know the canon AOT. I'm doing this. It's a purely altruistic mission. I want you to experience it fully. You are missing out. If you watch only the dub and you don't watch the sub or read the manga, you are missing out. You are robbing yourself of well-crafted dialogue, and the other thing is, you don't actually know what you're watching. If you've only watched the dub of AOT, me and you don't watch AOT. Me and you watch the same AOT. You didn't watch canon AOT. The dub is not canon. I think I've already explained to you why, but I'll go through it again. The characters say different things that mean different things that change the story in meaningful ways. So in that way, there's two different versions of the story. I mean, dub is basically fan fiction. It's not basically fan fiction, you know what I mean. It is the same integrity as fan fiction. If you're in an argument and you bring up the dub, guess what? I am not listening to a word out of your mouth. Because you might as well be bringing up fan translations. Honestly, I swear to you, you might as well pull up Google Translate. Because that will be more accurate some of the time. Because Google Translate is not trying to match your syllables. You might as well do that. Okay? You might as well get the scans from the book and start guessing what they're saying. You might as well. That's what I mean when I say it's not canon. It's not valid in any way, shape, or form. And you cannot say to yourself, I think Aaron is like this, or I think Annie's like this, or I think this happened because of this, based on any line from the dub. Okay? The dub is not canon. You are robbing yourself. So please, I want you to experience the full joys of Attack on Titan. So I implore you, read Uprising in the manga. Watch the sub or read the manga before you watch the dub. If you cannot do that, if for some reason you have some issue where you cannot do that, I am sorry for you, and everyone else in our culture should be sorry for you, and we should try to help you. We shouldn't just let that happen. We should just, if someone really can't watch the sub, we should feel sorry for that person, and we should try to help that person. Because people try to hide behind it. People say, oh, well, some people can't watch the sub because of some impairment or whatever. Now they say that, and they try to be like, act like, oh, we'll be nice. It's like AWR, but the faux kindness. Oh, we'll be nice. Oh, we'll be nice. No, you're not being nice. You're using their impairment to advance your own agenda. And if that's actually the only reason why the dub should be released, then you should help a brother out. You should help those people out, and you should give them the actual translation. That is the video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Join the Syndicate. So that means just join the subreddit. Join the Discord server. Links will be in the description. Have a nice day.